Welcome to another installment of Donning the Armor. In today's installment, we're going to go from Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 through chapter 13, verse 4. So, with verse 1, now the whole earth had one language and one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, Come, let us make bricks and make them thoroughly. They had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the earth. So God told them to go across the entire earth, to go forth, multiply everywhere. And they said, let's act for ourselves. Let's come together. Let's make a city and let's make a tower whose top is in the sky, is in the heavens, to make a name for ourselves so that we can once again be the ones being glorified. You know, we had just dealt with that with the flood. These people were wicked and thought only of themselves and never thought of God. And once again, the reset happens, but people, as God said, still had that evil intent, still had that original dead spirit inside of them. They still had that original sin of Adam, that desire to be separated, whether they knew it or not. And here they say, hey, let's do something that glorifies us. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, Indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language. And this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down there and confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. See, people take this in a way of saying, see, God is so wicked, he couldn't just let them be happy. They just couldn't let humans be successful without him. See, we don't need God. God just wants us to feel we need him. But he's just saying, look, they want to be separated from me. They want to glorify themselves. Now let's let nothing that they propose be withheld from them. They want to propose to be separate. They want to propose to be glorified. Let's separate them. They want to do all this wickedness that they propose. Nothing will be held from them now. I will scatter them. I will confuse them. And I will let them be as separate as they want to be. Sometimes God gives us over to our sinful nature. Not because he's wicked, but because he's loving. He knows what's best. And sometimes as a parent, as a father, even I know, sometimes your kid wants to go eat ice cream for breakfast before school. I mean, it happened with my son. He wanted candy. Said, dude, that's going to hurt your stomach before school. But I want it. I said, all right, whatever. Go have that candy bar. As we're pulling up to school, he said, Daddy, you're right. My stomach is starting to hurt. I said, exactly. So hopefully after you eat that breakfast in school, your stomach's going to start feeling better. Because he wanted to propose to do something. I didn't withhold that from him. I let him have it. So that way he can learn his lesson and learn to understand that my looking out for him, I am looking out for what is good and what is best for him. Not trying to keep him from something, but trying to guide him to something better. But picking back up in verse 8. So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of all the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore its name is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth. That's where we get the word babbling from. This is the genealogy of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and once again, this is a restatement of what we covered at the end of last chapter. So this is the genealogy of Shem. All right, once again, I'm going to have to say that a third time, but last time it was an overview talking about what happened. It came after the flood, and as I said, these people, as they're going, these are the people that came and they went forth. Now this is saying, look, the Tower of Babel, this is how we got here, and this is where we went from here, past here, until we get to the time of Abraham. It's a genealogy attached to the flood. This is a genealogy attached to both Abraham and the Tower of Babel. This is the genealogy of Shem for the third time. Shem was 100 years old and begot Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. After he begot Arphaxad, Shem lived 500 years and begot sons and daughters. Arphaxad lived 35 years and begot Salah. After he begot Salah, Arphaxad lived 403 years and begot sons and daughters. Salah lived 30 years and begot Eber. He begot Eber. After he begot Eber, Salah lived 403 years and begot sons and daughters. Eber lived 34 years and begot Peleg. After he begot Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and begot sons and daughters. Peleg lived 30 years and begot Reuel. After he begot Reuel, Peleg lived 209 years and begot sons and daughters. Reuel lived 32 years and begot Serug. After he begot Serug, Reuel lived 207 years and begot sons and daughters. We are noticing a pattern, and that is that the life expectancy of human beings is dropping severely post-flood. Serug lived 30 years and begot Nahor. After he begot Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and begot sons and daughters. Nahor lived 29 years and begot Terah. After he begot Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and begot sons and daughters. Now Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And that's why the genealogy is included. Going from the flood and Babel to Abram, who will be called Abraham. This is the genealogy of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran begot Lot, and Haran died before his father Terah in his native land in Ur of the Chaldees in Babylon. So it's important to note that there's notations like this are always there for a reason. So you normally would follow your father, but this is saying Haran died prematurely before his father, and there's a reason why Lot was not with his father, but was instead with Abram. Then Abram and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Michal, the daughter of Haran, the father of Michal, and the father of Ishka. But Sarai was barren. She had no children. So Nahor, Abram's wife, was able to have children. Abram and his wife were not at the time. And Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot, the son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, his son Abram's wife, and they went out with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go to the land of Canaan, and they came to Haran and dwelt there. Now, you're going to say, hey, how can they come to a city named after a person? Well, you got to remember that I mentioned it before, that a lot of these names of places, because you'll find there'll be, Jacob went out to Bethel, and there he built an altar and named it Bethel. Be like, well, why did he name it something that was already named? Well, the names of a lot of the places that are being mentioned by Moses in Scripture are named by the names that the Israelites of Moses' time would have known them, not by the names that they necessarily would have been known at the time that they're happening, because then we see them being named those things. So here they're coming out to Haran to dwell there. So the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. So now that's chapter 11. We move into chapter 12. Now the Lord had said to Abram, go out from your country, go out of your country, from your family, from your father's house, to a land I will show you. So he's saying, look, your father has died. It's time to leave your family. It's time to go out and to become what I have planned for you, to a place I'm going to show you, in a way I'm going to show you, and be blessed in a way that I will provide for you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you. And in you all families of the earth shall be blessed, which points to the Messiah. Because from Abram comes Isaac, from Isaac comes Jacob, from Jacob comes Judah, from Judah comes David, from David comes Jesus. And there's a lot of steps in between, but that's the line of the Messiah. So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. Then Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possessions that they gathered, and the people whom they had acquired in Haran, and they departed to go to the land of Canaan. Now why was it called Haran? Probably because Lot's father went out there and created his own town out there before he died. That's just, I kind of cut myself off with the explanation last time. So they came to the land of Canaan. Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh, and the Canaanites were in the land. Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, to your descendants I will give this land. And there he built an altar to the Lord who had appeared to him. And he moved from there to the mountain east of Bethel, and he pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. So Abram journeyed going on still toward the south. Abraham was very much a nomad. He moved constantly as he was trying to go to where the Lord would finally have him be. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to dwell there, for the famine was severe in the land, which we see Canaan, Israel, that area is a wilderness. It is a desert. It is a place that famine is always a chance. And Egypt always seemed to be a land of plenty, being on the river Nile. So there was always water. There was always vegetation to help. Not that Egypt didn't have famines, but it was more likely to have abundance in that place. There's a reason why lots of ancient civilizations created on riverbeds, because rivers, moving water, meant life. And it came to pass when he was close to entering Egypt that he said to Sarai's wife, indeed, I know that you are a woman of beautiful countenance. Gotta remember, she's like 65 years old, so that's saying something. Therefore it will happen when the Egyptians see you that they will say, this is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will let you live, because they would want her as wife. Please say you are my sister, that it will be well with me for your sake, and that I may live because of you. Basically, they may still take you to be one of their concubines, but they're not going to kill me to get to you. That is what it is. So it was when Abram came into Egypt that the Egyptians saw the woman and that she was very beautiful. The princes of Pharaoh also saw her and commended her to Pharaoh. And the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. He treated Abram well for her sake. He had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female servants, female donkeys, and camels. So Abram didn't just do well. I mean, he was becoming enriched and wealthy by having Sarah act as his sister. But the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is it that you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? So God apparently made it known to him that, hey, you lied. Like, why would you do this to me? Because remember, Egypt had a lot of false gods that they believed did a lot of different things. Well, when one of the gods is saying, hey, I'm doing this to you, they're going to take that very seriously. Because although their gods weren't real and didn't do anything, although, people have posited that they may have been demonic and, whatever. But point being, the real God did something, and he took very much notice of that. Why did you say, she is my sister? I might have taken her as my wife, which apparently he had not done yet. Now, therefore, here is your wife. Take her and go your way. So Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him that they sent him away. And they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. So he didn't say, hey, give me the stuff back. He just said, just get out and leave me be. So chapter 13, verse 1. Then Abram went up from Egypt, he and his wife and all that they had, and Lot with him, to the south. Abram was very rich in livestock, in silver and in gold. It said he got very wealthy in Egypt. And he went on his journey from the south as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning. Remember, it's also not called Bethel to Abram at this point. It is to the Israelites in Moses' time. Between Bethel and Ai, to the place, the altar which he had made there. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. So Abram followed God. He left the home of his fathers. He went out from where his descendants followed, but he got sidetracked. He got sidetracked by a famine, went down to Egypt. Now he returns to where he started and seeks the Lord and says, Lord, where do you wish me to go now? You know, in life, we try to walk out this Christian walk and we get sidetracked. We do things that we don't want to do, which is what Paul was talking about. Why do I sin when I don't want to sin and I want to do good, but I don't seem to ever do good? Sometimes we think we're walking right, but God wants us to go left and we're going this way. Sometimes we get sidetracked with worldly things. Sometimes we get sidetracked into a ministry we don't belong because our desire to do something is more important than his calling to do something else. So Abraham travels back to where he started, calls on the name of the Lord for a reset, and says, Lord, I did all of this. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Now, please, Lord, show me where to go from here. And that's what we should do. When we feel we have taken a step in the wrong direction, we need to ask the Lord, where do we go from here? The Lord is a loving Father. He is not going to take it out on us for doing the wrong thing and stepping in the wrong direction. He wants us to call on him and follow him. He may have given us over to our own purposes, like he did with the people in Babel. But once we realize, whoa, I went wrong here, we need to go back to where we were and seek the face of the Lord, seek his advice, and find out where we need to go from there. Because he has a place where he wants us to be. We have a place we should be. And far too many of us are too prideful to go back to where we began. Get back down in front of us, in front of him, seek his face and ask him where we are supposed to be and what step we need to take next. Don't be that prideful. Be submissive to his will. Because that's what we're called to be. So I hope you enjoyed this installment of Donning the Armor. I hope you join me for next time. And until then, be blessed.